Hello everyone, welcome back to another abandoned technology video. In today's video, we're going to be checking out what you can do with a server like these.
If you're watching this video, you probably have an interest in servers just like me. And today I'm going to be showing you just what systems I run on these servers. So this is going to be a quick list of the stuff that I run. And you can see there's a good 6 services on here that I run on my local server. So as you can see, the first one is, of course, the virtual machines. Now I have a good 11 virtual machines that run all the time, 24/7. That powers things like my network systems, my websites, and all kinds of other stuff. I have my IoT system and 433 megahertz system, which has different sensors placed throughout the house. Here you can see a couple of these sensors just working. And yeah, they're relatively cheap. I got all of these for free from, essentially, they were given to me by a friend. And then we have the ACARS radio communications. Now, the only system that I have currently running is the VHF ACARS. But I'm getting the Inmarsat ACARS up and running for the time being, though it is not operational. And here's some images of that. It has a patch antenna for the Inmarsat, and then a VHF ACARS is over a regular old dipole antenna that I have set up. The next thing on the list is the GOES satellite receiver, and here's an image or a video of the satellite. And this satellite, it does a pretty good job. This dish does a pretty good job at receiving the images from the GOES satellite. That is saving images and putting them onto a virtual machine that you'll see later. Then, of course, I have a Fire EMS dispatch recording system. We're not going to show that in this video because it's not currently up and running, but during like the winter months and times of the year that I'm not the most busiest, this system is usually at its full capacity operation, and that saves files such as pager dispatches for the fire and EMS agencies. Then I have the ADSB decoding, which will be a future project I'm currently working on, and this allows you to upload data to certain websites that will track planes, and you can even track these planes yourself using your own software. So that's going to be it for these systems, and now we'll take a look at some video footage I recorded of all this crap. So we're going to take a look at the systems that I run on my 24/7 server. So we're on Unraid, which is where I have all my virtual machines hosted on this server. This is the operating system. And there's a lot of things that you can do with Unraid, and one of those things is virtual machines. Now, I have a good 11 virtual machines set up here. Not all of them are running, but a good majority of them are. And you can just see my overall system resources being utilized at the moment. And see, my server can pretty much handle all of these virtual machines running. I have like 8 virtual machines running right now actively. And this machine's handling pretty well. Our RAM usage is 66%. Which is kind of up there, but it's operating pretty well. You can see all of my different Ethernet ports and what they're outputting and all kind of stuff. A couple of other things I've integrated with this system. So the first thing we're gonna go over is what you can do with the virtual machines, and essentially it allows you to install things like Ubuntu server, like I have here set up an Ubuntu server installation that allows me to run an email server on here on a local network. I have a couple of networking things set up. For example, this is my domain controller. This does all my DNS routing and that sort of stuff. And then I have a pfSense box, which allows me to run and route all my packets to where they need to go. It essentially is my router. So yeah, that's what I have set up currently with the networking stuff. Then moving on, we have a couple of the projects I've been working on. One of these being the website for my satellite stuff, and that's just the website server. The actual satellite system is right here, and you can see in this we have a couple of different little images that have been decoded from the satellite, and VNC likes to be weird sometimes. So you can see this is like a live image that was pulled off around, I have no idea what time that is, but that's more recent. And this just goes through, downloads all these images, and there's so much of it, in fact, that there's over a good, however, 17 gigabytes of data that this has been running for a good, 6 or 7 days for now. And we've already got 17 gigabytes of data. So that's one of the services I have running, and that's utilizing a lot of the storage capabilities of this system. And that's going to be a problem down the road that I'm going to need to solve. That's a problem that a lot of people, like if you run if you download movies and that sort of thing, that's another problem that you have to overcome, is the storage, where you're storing all that stuff that you have, that you're downloading. And that's the problem we're going to run into here. I'm trying to make this easy so that this server will just act as the uploader and save all the images temporarily. Then I'll have a script that goes through every month or week that will delete a certain number of files. And then this server here will go through and download the images, and we'll save them for later viewing on the website. That website's not up and running at the moment, but it is. I've started working on it. Then we have a couple of other systems in here that I've integrated, one of them being a weather database system and a weather display. This is just the container or virtual machine running the website server. Then I have the MySQL database server, and that looks like this. This is the website. A lot of these buttons up here don't work at the moment, but this is a live display of the outdoor conditions right now. This is another page that I have that just displays the temperature and all that stuff, and it automatically updates every 5 seconds or so. So yeah, that's that. And then I have a Minecraft server that hasn't been used in a while, and I have this is an RTL TCP server. This allows you to use your RTL SDR dongle over the network, but I don't have it connected right now at the moment, so that's okay. And then I have a Ubiquiti controller, because who doesn't have a Ubiquiti controller on their network? If you're running a home lab, you're probably using at least one piece of Ubiquiti equipment. In my case, that's going to be a Ubiquiti Unify, I think U6 Lite access point, and that runs my entire house internet, essentially, for all the Wi-Fi connected devices, and it works pretty well. It spans over the entire house, and I have network connectivity pretty much all over the house. Of course, that is with range extenders and whatnot placed throughout the house, but I was planning on buying some more access points, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. That's it for this system. Now let's take a look at the Raspberry Pi and see what that does.
This is the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus W, and what I'm using it for is to collect data in the data center, essentially, in my little server stack. What I have running on it is an IPMI server, a APC UPS server, and then I have RTL 433 dongle connection thing. And this is an RTL SDR dongle that's connected to it, and a pressure temperature sensor, and then the APC UPS. Now, what this allows me to do is log data on Node-RED, which is what I use to log pretty much all the data that I collect. And I'm probably going to continue to use that because it's such an easy platform to use. But there's that, there's this, and that's pretty much it for this entire network. Now onto the software side of the Raspberry Pi.
Okay, so now we're going to be taking a look at the Raspberry Pi system. And the Raspberry Pi system is going to be the Raspberry Pi is going to be running a couple of different things. First, it's going to be running, of course, it's going to be running Raspberry and the OS, but it's also going to be running something called Node-RED, and I'll show you that here real quick. This is just the UI for my Node-RED system, and I just have a couple of graphs of the data that's being brought in by the system, and we can see that the weather station that I have outside is displayed here, as well as different temperature zones for the sensors, various 433 megahertz sensors I have placed around my house. Now this allows me to just get all the data instantaneously. It's not being saved anywhere really except for the memory of this Pi. It also resets daily, so the graphs will just be written over every single day. So then if we're taking a look, we can take a look at the daily trends. This is just something I programmed in, and I'll show you all the nodes in a second, but we have outdoor statistics. This is the pressure sensor that I have saved, that I have connected to the Raspberry Pi, and it saves all of the data for about, looks like five days or so. We have the indoor conditions, things like the basement temperature, which is going up, the basement humidity, which is actually kind of high for what it usually is. These ones are not accurate at all just because it's in the window and it has direct sunlight on it at all times. We can take a look at the rain rate. We don't have any rain going on right now, although the algorithm that I had written for this is kind of broken, so I need to look at that again. I have the lightning data. There's no lightning data since we haven't had any storms recently. And then power data. This is where the UPS system is connected to, or this is where I can view some of the live data coming off the UPS. So this is things like the line voltage, and this can be pretty interesting to note and take note of. We'll look at this in a second. But we have also the time left on battery, and that's pretty useful just to see, you know, is something powered up recently that I don't know about? Is there something using more power than it should? It doesn't log the watts, unfortunately. I believe there is some way you can get it to do that. I just don't have, I haven't come up with the calculations for that yet. We also see that the last outage tag is logged and the last time that the power outage was logged. We have the outages this month. You can see there's been 10 outages already this month. It just shows you how unstable the grid is near me. We also have a log of every single time that it has tripped offline. And you'll notice this log repeats multiple times. That's because some of these outages that we've experienced have actually knocked all of the systems offline. They've been so long that the UPS has actually died because the power was out for so long. So for instance, you can see where this repeats right here. This was when we had an outage, and you'll notice the power when it came back on was such a long time later that it's pretty, you know, you can see that it was pretty much powered off. It had powered off likely and did not even get to update whenever the system went down. It's just another thing that just shows me, you know, what's happening with the system. Is there anything that I need to be concerned about? That sort of thing. You can even see here the more recent outages. They've just been very consistent. It's very small little trips. You know, it'll trip offline for a couple of seconds, then go back to normal. This one we had, it looks like it tripped offline. These times don't make any sense at all, but that's weird. You know, there's a couple more here that were a couple of seconds long, but you kind of get the idea, the point of the whole system. And this is just a graph of the battery charge. Okay, so now if we come over to the side menu again, we can see there's also one more tab for Pi Stats, and this is essentially just the temperature graph of the Raspberry Pi, and you can see that it's been relatively high over the past couple of hours here, but it's relatively spiking now because we're doing stuff on the Raspberry Pi at the moment. Now the Node-RED dashboard is just the dashboard. It's just the UI for the system I've created. But what about behind the scenes? And that's something that's pretty interesting with this whole project is the nodes, the things that actually power the project. And this is very overwhelming, at least for me to look at now, and I'm even the one who programmed this. But I mean, you can kind of tell what's happening here. We've got a couple of nodes doing different stuff. This is the weather station data. There's uploading it to the database. There's a couple of different nodes for the graphs and this data displays on the UI tabs. And you can see the sensors I'm using as well. They're pretty open source. Most of the stuff is open source. Well, at least the sensor data coming from the sensors. That's decoded information actually from the 433 megahertz. The RTL 433, which is the software I use to connect to the Raspberry Pi. So it's connecting to MQTT through that, and that's what's giving us our messages. And that's you'll see this occasionally jump up to 1. This is just limiting it because it likes to repeat the messages. I'm sure there's a flag that I could put in the string when I start the 433 megahertz. When I start RTL 433, there's definitely a flag I could probably put in there to stop duplicate messages, but I just solved the problem basically doing this. Probably not as efficient. It's probably deleting some of the messages. But yeah, that's that. And then this is the input from our pressure sensor. We've got a Raspberry Pi system that's, this is running a command that's returning a variable, and that's getting graphed and sent to the gauge. So that's pretty much it for that's pretty much going to do it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll be uploading a lot more videos. It's summertime now, and I'm definitely going to be a lot more free to do what I want to do instead of having to be stuck to a schedule every single day. Basically what I've been doing for the past 8 months now. But yeah, I'll get used to it. I forgot the power system. I also have the power system in here too. This does some neat little stuff. I also have a thing that'll let me know whenever the power goes out. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe.